The Florida Gators are red hot on the recruiting trail for the 2025 class, but where will they find transfer portal contributors for 2025?
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever it's the podcast and on YouTube. Happy Tuesday. I am Brandon Olsen. Find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI.com. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. And as always, if you're new here, welcome. As always, if the Florida Gators get a commit and we are available to go live, which if it happens today, we should be available to go live right here on Locked On Gators. But the Florida Gators do need to look into the transfer portal for talent as well. I know that, it's fun to right now talk about all the recruiting with high school recruiting that Florida's been doing. That's great. But the portal is also here, and the portal is also something that the Florida Gators are going to have to manage and find talent in that can contribute immediately. That's what the portal is for. That's something that Florida does pretty well, honestly, and has generally done pretty well under Billy Napier of use high school to fill out the depth and future starters. Great. Go into the portal to add immediate contributors. And again, there's two approaches to the portal, two good takes is what I like to call them. One, proven starters at their previous spot or proven significant contributors at their previous spot, looking for a new home, whatever that reason may be. If it's a step up in competition, if it's you want NIL, if it's you want to play in the SEC, I don't care. There's that. Or there's guys who have been in college for no more than 1 year. And those guys we contribute or we consider part of the recruiting class high school wise, basically. But that's how we're looking at it there. The first position that I think Florida is going to prioritize and needs to prioritize is wide receiver. Wide receiver is a position that Billy Napier has pretty openly said he likes going to the portal to find players. He's pretty, I think it was last Monday during his press conference. He was like, yeah, receivers is probably where we go. And I will say this too, because I know that everybody wants the immediate addition once a guy hits the portal. I don't think that I'd be too stressed even if Florida doesn't hit on receiver in the first portal window. Yeah, I don't think I'd be too stressed if they don't hit that spot. That's not something that really concerns me. That receiver specifically is a position that Billy Napier has said he's fine adding in the summer window. He said he's like, yeah, I'm fine adding in the summer window. We teach him, what you have to do as a receiver. If you're already a proven receiver and you basically just need to learn the playbook, we're fine adding it. It's what they did with Elijhah Badger this year, and he was your most productive receiver by every metric. Catches, yards, touchdowns, not targets. He didn't have the most targets. That was Chimdika. But catches, yards, touchdowns, Elijhah Badger was there. And so Florida is likely going to go into the portal to find their next alpha, their next number one, which I don't want to sound any alarms or seem like I'm trying to do that, but receivers that Florida have taken out of high school haven't exactly been awesome yet, right? We've had some guys pop off and some guys flash, but portal has been how a lot of the production has come. And this should be an easy sell, right? Because Florida's brought in 3 guys from the portal that are great additions. You had Ricky Pearsall in 2022 and 2023. You had Elijhah Badger and Chimdika this year. One of the big differences that you have, though, with the selling point is that now you have DJ Lagway, a true sophomore. I think that you've kind of opened your window in terms of who you might be interested in taking, because hypothetically, if there's a freshman that hit the portal that is really good, But, maybe he's like, I don't know what their future plan is at QB. That's not an issue for the Florida Gators. You know what your present and future is at quarterback if you're coming to the Florida Gators. That's a really easy sell. Now, we've talked about this before. Kids want to play with DJ Lagway. Kids at every position want to play with DJ Lagway. He's good. He's exciting. Like, there's an insane amount of hype around the University of Florida right now. It's not hard to sell the program. It's not hard to sell this logo. And by the way, I just want to throw this in there real quick. That's one of the reasons that that's one of the reasons that I don't care when people get mad at me for any criticisms of Billy Napier. This is the logo. This is the University of Florida. Like, it's great. It's not hard to do. Billy Napier said, hey, if you can't get 25 high school kids to come here, you're not going to be here long, right? Brian Smith, I know a bunch of you don't like him, but he comes out here every time and he goes, it's not hard to sell Florida. It's really not. It's not hard to sell the University of Florida. It's not. That's why some of this stuff frustrates me. I just want to throw that out there. But looking at what you have, like, it's really easy to sell Florida right now because you have all the things that you always have at Florida, but you've got a 3-game winning streak to end this season prior to a bowl game, which bowl games are relevant for high school recruiting. But portal could be relevant. You've got DJ Lagway. And you've got what is now a pretty decent recruiting class, pretty good recruiting class. I said 12 was respectable. You're in there now. You've got it. You've got it. With yesterday's edition of Hilton Stubbs, you've got the respectable margin. Get into the top 8 and we start talking about good, just genuinely good. But there's also the opportunity if you're a receiver here, or if you're a receiver elsewhere looking to come here. Andy Jean has already announced his intention to enter the portal. Best of luck to him. Elijhah Badger, gone. Chim DK, gone. Jaquavion Frazier's is gone. I mean, I know he had 1 catch this year, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure his 1 catch was the Ole Miss game when DJ Lagway had a defender wrapped around him. I'm pretty sure that one was Jaquavion Frazier's 1 catch. But those are Badger and DK alone. That's 73 catches that cleared up. 114 targets cleared up, right? 56 plus 58, I think, is 114. It's 114 targets that cleared up, 1,400 yards cleared up, 6 touchdowns cleared up, all gone in the receiver room. Your next most productive receiver was Trey Wilson, who played 4 games, 19 catches. 4 games, 19 catches, 266 yards, and a touchdown. After that, you got to go all the way down to Aiden Mizell with 13 catches. There's a lot of opportunity here if you're a receiver. So if there's any top receiver that enter the portal, and also you have to consider that you might lose more, right? Like, I don't know, a Marcus Burke could leave if he wants, right? Could be a possibility. I don't think any of the 2024 freshmen will go, but who knows? But there's opportunity in abundance if you're a receiver and you want to come play at the University of Florida. It's just a matter of Florida needs to find the right guy that they think can come in and kind of fill those needs. But it's going to be a priority for this coaching staff in the portal. That's not me asking. That's me telling you. They are prioritizing receiver in this portal window or in the portal in general for 2025. We'll talk about what else the Florida Gators need in the portal when we get back with Locked On Gators. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You get one more chance to watch our Florida Gators play, okay? One more. We don't know when yet. We don't know where yet. But there's a decent chance that if you're watching this or listening to this, it's going to be generally near you, a few hours, right? If you want to go to Game Time, download the Game Time app, and don't get, I'm going to be honest with you. I only use Game Time. I don't even look at the other programs or other apps. Don't even do it. Nope. Don't waste my time. I know that I can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code Locked On College for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time, baby. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free right in the podcast and on YouTube. And again, sometimes we're here multiple times a day. I think in the past 10 days, we've had a total of like 16 episodes at this point. Probably going to have more. Also, I will say this tomorrow, if there are any people that commit to Florida for the first time, we will be going live for them. Early signing day is tomorrow. If there's a kid that commits that isn't already committed to Florida, we will be going live when he signs because that's what we do. But another position that the Florida Gators need to hit in the portal, in my opinion, and will look at in the portal, offensive line. And I'm saying offensive line in general. I know that from who I've spoken to, offensive tackle is going to be more of the priority than just guard. But the way that I look at this is the Florida Gators are in a very unique spot, right? You definitely are losing Brandon Crenshaw-Dickson, who is your starting right tackle this year. Had a little bit of a rocky start and then just lit it up for the remainder of the season, right? He ended up playing 683 of your right tackle snaps, allowed 12 total pressures, 1 sack. That's pretty good. I'm not going to lie to you. He played all 12 games and allowed on average 1 pressure per game. That's pretty good, especially considering what the Florida Gators dealt with last season at right tackle, which Damian George was the starting right tackle last year, and he allowed 29 pressures. So you did more than cut it in half. You went from 29 to 12. That's really good. But this isn't about Damian George. This is about replacing talent that you may be losing. So you're in a spot where your offensive line, you are 100% losing Brandon Crenshaw-Dickson. He is out of eligibility. Okay? That's handled right tackle. Left guard is Najee Harris. Assuming he doesn't hit the portal, then that's answered, right? Like you have him coming back. That leaves left tackle Austin Barber, center Jake Slaughter, and right guard Damian George. They all have the option to declare for the NFL. And I guess I don't think this is an option for these guys, really, but they have the option to declare for the draft or portal. But again, I don't think that's something I'm thinking with them. But they could declare for the draft, portal, or return to the University of Florida. I sent this to the insiders yesterday, so you got it earlier if you're with the insiders. If you want to be with the insiders, join the links in the description below. Austin Barber, I think, will be back. Jake Slaughter, I do not know. Personally, I don't know what he's getting back from the NFL. But I would have to think he's a top 2 or 3 center in the NFL draft, which if you look at the NFL draft recently, it's like this past year, there were 2 centers drafted in the first 2 days. The year prior, there were 4. The year prior, there were 2. Then there were 5. Then there were 6. And it's like, I don't know where people I see on Twitter go, centers don't get drafted on day 2. Like there's maybe 1 center that gets drafted in the entire time. And it's like, I don't know what the hell people are saying, or if it's like just my algorithm that throws the idiocy onto the timeline, which says a lot about me. I get it. Don't worry. But yeah, Jake Slaughter's a very good center. And I don't know what his grade is, but I don't know. I watch this film and I go, that's a Sunday player. Without a doubt in my mind. Like that's a Sunday starter without a doubt in my mind. And so it's like, I don't know. I don't think I'd come back if I were him, but if you get a grade that's not what you want it to be, and it's something that you can improve upon, then sure. Like if it's a grade that you don't want it to be, but they're like, oh yeah, you're too short or whatever, just hypothetically. If they're like, oh yeah, you're too short. You can't fix that. You might as well go, right? I can't think of anything else. And so Jake Slaughter, I don't know what's going to happen with him. Damian George, I would think comes back. He's like the only one that I think of as a portal risk. But either way, that means that you are in a unique spot where you could return 4 of your 5 starters, just not Brandon Crenshaw-Dickson, or you could return realistically 1 of your 5, and that's not a good spot to be in. So that's why I said offensive line. I think you're more likely to return 4 of your offensive starters or all of your offensive starters instead of Brandon Crenshaw-Dickson, instead of the alternative. But I think Florida absolutely needs to add a tackle at some point here. I mean, I know you added Devin Manuel last year. He didn't play a ton this year, but when he did, I didn't think he was awesome. I thought he was pretty good in pass pro. I don't think he did anything as a run blocker. Like I just don't think he moved people, or not even move people entirely. Just I don't think he sealed lanes well enough, and that's worrisome, right? So you brought in Devin Manuel. You have Fletcher Westphal, who's a true freshman this year, who maybe he pops and becomes a starter quality left tackle next year. Also, sorry, I buried the lead here. I'd move Austin Barber back to right tackle. He was really good there in 2022. But if he wants to stay left tackle because he thinks he'll make more money there, that's fine. But I think right now the NFL is very interchangeable where everybody's like, hey, you need two good tackles. I just thought Austin Barber was better at right tackle when he played there. But again, who knows? It's been 2 years since he's really done it. Maybe he's regressed in that time. But you got Devin Manuel, Fletcher Westphal, Austin Barber. Bryce Lovett played left tackle a little bit, but that's not going to be a long-term thing. Cam Waits played right tackle at the beginning, was horrendous, and moved to right guard. Caden Jones played a little bit at right tackle. There's not a ton of proven production there. And I think that's where a lot of people, like myself, kind of look at it of, you don't have answers at tackle. Even if you get Austin Barber back, your other answer is Devin Manuel, who didn't look great when he played, or young guys that you expect to step up. I'm not saying that that's a horrible situation to be in. I am saying that for me, I'd go, okay, well, I need to bring in a veteran here, because if those young guys don't hit and that's all I have, this is going to be bad. And so that's how I look at it. And I would also look for an interior guy that can play multiple spots and just bring him in for depth. And there will be guys like that. Like there will be guys, we know Florida's going to rotate on their offensive line. So there will be guys where you can kind of sell, hey, you're not going to start, but you are going to play at multiple guard spots. You'll be able to sell that for people, or multiple interior spots. You'll be able to sell that. You will. I don't know if you stick to it, but you'll be able to sell it, and you'll be able to land someone. There's no doubt in my mind about that. So for Florida, offensive line, need it. At least a tackle, maybe an interior guy, again, that can play multiple spots. And also that interior guy that can play multiple spots doesn't need to be a veteran there. That I just need you to get someone. That's it. Just someone with a little bit of experience that can play multiple spots. I'm not asking for a starter. I'm not asking for that. We've got one more position to talk about today, and actually, all on the offense. All the spots we're talking about on the offense. We'll talk about it when we get back with Locked On Gators. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. In fact, I'm going to check right now because at the time of recording this, it is during the NBA games, and Dyson Daniels with the Atlanta Hawks could have made me some decent money. We'll see how he's doing. Yep. All right. I love him. There it is. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. The bet was plus 280. That's why I'm happy about it. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever it's in the podcast and on YouTube. Thank you to Dyson Daniels for having 4 steals today. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. The last position that we're talking about today is quarterback. And this one, purely depth, but the Florida Gators very badly need to bring in a quarterback in the portal. Okay? And I know there's going to be some people that disagree, and some people are going to say, hey, take 2 high school quarterbacks was an approach that we saw when Tramel Jones flipped to Florida. Well, take another high school quarterback. No, thank you. I think that you need to add another quarterback, but in the portal. Which, by the way, Florida hasn't done an awesome job of evaluating portal talent. at quarterback. And I think part of that is because so much of quarterback is about who you are as a person and your mentality and your ability to kind of deal with any adversity or anything. And you don't get to know that really in the portal. And so I think that's my theory, at least, of why they've struggled with adding talent in the portal. They brought in Graham Mertz, and that worked great, but like Clay Millen hasn't worked out. Jack Miller III was horrendous, stuff like that. But DJ Lagway is back. He's your starting quarterback in 2025. No one's going to question that. He's your starting quarterback in 2026. No one's going to question that. Okay? That's great. However, Graham Mertz is gone. Graham Mertz is out of eligibility. He's not going to get a medical red shirt. He's been in college, or he played 5 games this year, so not going to get that medical red shirt. And left late in the 5th game. Again, I mean, who knows with college eligibility rules, but logic and the rules say that he shouldn't get another year. And he also should just go to the NFL. If he even has a slight chance, it's not getting better as the backup next year. So Graham Mertz is gone. Tramel Jones is in the 2025 class, but true freshman, not a great option to need as a backup quarterback. If your young starting quarterback gets injured, not always great. Aiden Warner is not a quality quarterback, is not an SEC quality quarterback. And I mean no disrespect to him at all. And again, my issue is not with Aiden Warner. My issue is with Billy Napier having your third quarterback as, it's been a while since I said it, a redshirt freshman transfer walk-on quarterback from Yale. My issues with Napier for having that as your QB3. But even if Clay Millen doesn't portal, which I suspect he might portal, he lost the job to Aiden Warner. And we saw how Aiden Warner performed against an SEC team. I don't care what Clay Millen's completion percentage was at Colorado State. Have you ever watched the Mountain West? Not to be a D-bag, but they don't typically have amazing defenses. There's a couple schools that have pretty good, consistent defenses, but they don't typically have amazing defenses. I'm sorry. I just can't look at it and say, oh yeah, like that's the guy. That I'm comfortable with that. I can't, because I look at this 2024 season and the freaking roller coaster that it was. Because, I mean, you look at how it started. First off, right before the season, we were hot, right? We were just pumped as a fan base. Then Miami happens and you plummet. Samford happens. That does nothing for you other than, hey, DJ looks pretty good. That's all you get. That's a little bump up. Then A&M happens and you plummet down again. Then Mississippi State and you go, all right, well, we beat them by, I think it was 23. Toledo beat them by 24. Not exactly great. Hard to get super stoked about that. Then the bye week. Then you beat UCF and you go up a little bit. And you drop the Tennessee in a close game and a good loss as far as losses go. And then, the rest of the season you had a little bit of an uptick with the Kentucky whooping. Another bye. Then you dealt with the Georgia game where DJ gets hurt. Then you deal with the Texas game without DJ. And oh my God, that game was horrible, right? That game sucked. And then you look at the last 3 games of the season, right? Here's the thing. The last 3 games of the season that were amazing and fantastic and miraculous and helped you get all this momentum on the trail, that doesn't happen with Aiden Warner. Hell, that probably doesn't happen with Graham Mertz, right? It's more likely that it's going to happen with Graham Mertz and Aiden Warner. That's what you need to make sure of. You need to just give yourself the best chance possible to win games. You need to put your team in the best position possible to win games. And right now, behind DJ Lagway, you do not have anybody that's capable of really doing that. Unless Tramel Jones is another wonderkind, that's not going to happen. I think wonderkind is the right word. Unless Tramel Jones is another wonderkind, that's not going to happen. Or unless Clay Millen develops significantly with another year in the system, if he's back, that's not going to happen. And so Florida, I think you've got to, and here's the really tough spot because quarterbacks got egos, man. They do. Just that's it. Coaches have egos, quarterbacks have egos, corners need egos, things like that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But quarterbacks have egos where they think, hey, I could lead this team. You need to find someone that is good enough to lead this team to at least scrape by some games or keep you in position to win games. Like keep your run game defense, and then he's just a threat, a little bit of a threat. You need to have that. But also being comfortable being DJ Lagway's backup. And ideally has at least a couple of years of significant playing time. That's not giving you a big pool of candidates, right? That's the issue, but you need to bring in a veteran quarterback here. You need to bring in someone that can keep an offense on schedule, on target. And that's going to be tough. But again, we don't know who's in the portal yet. I mean, Miller Moss is the only like big name that's gone in, and Florida's probably not going to be big fish hunting, big game hunting, whatever how you want to say. Florida's not probably going to be doing that. But we will see eventually someone will probably hit the portal that Florida can look at and say, all right, well, good enough, and take that approach. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever the podcast and on YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow. We might be back before tomorrow. It's December. We might be back before tomorrow. For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on NFL on SI.com. And I'll see you all next time.